Hi lovely you, and welcome to my channel. If you like this video, so give likes and subscribe this channel. Finally, the rhythmic thump of bass beats pulsed through my veins as I stepped into the dimly lit nightclub, the air thick with the scent of alcohol and perfume mingling with excitement and possibility. I could not help but grin to myself. The weight of another semester finally lifted off my shoulders, classes and exams were behind me now, and the night was young. I was here to celebrate with my best friends, a night to revel in the freedom that only summer break could bring. Ladies, we made it, I shouted over the music, raising my glass as we squeezed our way through the crowded dance floor, a sea of familiar faces from college. This place felt more like a Friday bar to me than a club, and it was my favorite place to go for a night out with my girls. As always, the energy was electric, students from different faculties mingling, united by the same sense of relief and anticipation. The DJ dropped a familiar track, and we let out a collective cheer, the lyrics on our lips as we danced our way towards our favorite spot near the bar. As we settled into our groove, my best friend Hina leaned in close, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Tonight's all about fun, no thinking about school, she declared, and I nodded vigorously. It felt good to let go, to let the music and laughter wash over us, a reward for months of hard work. I earned this. As the night went on, we danced with abandon, our movements synchronized from years of friendship and countless nights out together. The club's lights flickered and spun, casting a kaleidoscope of colors across the room, illuminating the joyous faces around us. The night stretched on, a blur of dancing, laughter, and clinking glasses, and eventually, as is often the case when alcohol joins the party, my friends and I soon scattered more and more around the club, and suddenly, I found myself swept up in a game of beer pong with some friendly faces from another faculty, and I realized that I did not know where Hina and the others were. But with alcohol pumping through my blood and excited faces around me, I did not pay too much attention to that fact. All I knew was that I was having fun, and I felt safe knowing that my friends were having fun too somewhere else in the building. Nice one, Ichimura. One of the guys on my team cheered as I sank another ball into a cup. His name was Takahashi, if I remembered correctly, and he had a friendly smile that had initially put me at ease. We high-fived, our team roaring with approval. However, as the game continued, I noticed Takahashi inching closer and closer to me. At first, it was just a casual brush of our shoulders, a friendly gesture. "You've got a great aim," he said, leaning in closer, his breath warm and eerily moist against my ear. It felt uncomfortable, and I breathed out a laugh, a little nervously, but brushed it off. It was all in good fun, right? We were here to celebrate, after all. But as the game went on, Takahashi's touches became more deliberate, a hand on my back, lingering a bit too long, his arm around my shoulder, pulling me in closer every time we scored a point, the way he paid me more attention than any of the other players around the table, how he exploited every small break to ask me all sorts of questions. The initial amusement I had felt had started to wane, replaced by a growing unease. It only dawned on me now, after several games, that this guy was obviously trying to flirt with me, and it made me uncomfortable. I had no intention nor wish of flirting back, as Takahashi was not my type at all, and I hoped to God that I had not said or done anything that might have led him to believe otherwise, but even as I tried keeping my distance from him, he somehow always found a way to get closer to me, and it made my skin crawl how he did not seem to notice that I was actually trying to get away from him. "So, Ichimura, got any plans for the summer?" he asked, his face way too close to mine. I gave him a tight smile, trying to keep it light. "Just going to enjoy the break, you know, travel, relax, that sort of thing," I replied, focusing on the game. I threw another ball, deliberately missing this time. I could feel the need to escape growing stronger with each passing moment. Takahashi laughed, seemingly oblivious to my discomfort. "Sounds fun, maybe we could hang out sometime," he suggested, his hand sliding down my arm. I stiffened, my smile faltering. "Oh, hey, maybe," I said noncommittally, taking a step back, my eyes searching the other side of the room. "Hey, so I think that was my last game, I should go find my friends." But just as I turned to leave, Takahashi's hand caught my wrist. "No, come on, Ichimura," he insisted, "stay for another game, it's just getting fun." I could feel his grip tightening slightly around my wrist, and I felt a surge of panic wash over me. I pulled my hand away immediately, my heart pounding with a mix of annoyance and unease. "What the fuck, dude, keep your hands to yourself." "No, really," I said more firmly, my mind racing to come up with something good that would get him to leave me alone. My boyfriend's waiting for me at the bar, so." I looked him in the eye and faked a light chuckle. Even though the words felt foreign on my tongue, I held my ground and watched for his reaction to my lie. I hoped that it would be enough to get him off me. Takahashi's expression shifted, a mix of surprise and disappointment flashing across his face momentarily, but it was quickly replaced by a somewhat skeptical look. He hesitated with the rise of an eyebrow, glancing towards the bar and then back at me. "Oh, really?" he said, his tone measured, trying to sound casual. "I didn't know you had a boyfriend." As if he knew anything about me, I forced another chuckle, trying to keep the smile on my face, while on the inside I wished that a hole would open up beneath me and swallow me whole just to get me away from Mr. Creep. "Yeah, he's pretty low-key," I said with a dismissive wave of my hand, "but I did promise him only one game and then I would meet him at the bar, so." Takahashi's eyes held mine for a moment longer than was comfortable, as if he was searching for cracks in my lie. I felt my pulse quicken under his stare, the tension thick in the air between us. I tried to hold his gaze, but the unease gnawing at my insides made it difficult. I already kind of regretted not just telling him to leave me the fuck alone. But that is just typical me, always trying to please everybody. "Sigh, right," he said slowly, his voice carrying a hint of doubt while his eyes traveled to the bar and back to me. "Well, I guess we shouldn't keep him waiting, then." "Yeah," I breathed nervously, hoping to end the conversation quickly. I said goodbye to the others, but when I turned to leave Takahashi, I felt his hand pulling on my shoulder. "Wait up," I heard him exclaim, and I felt something heavy sink in my stomach. "I'll walk with you to the bar." My eyes widened momentarily, and I swallowed hard, the lie feeling even heavier now. Fuck, panic surged through me, and my forced smile faltered. "Oh, you don't have to," I started, but he cut me off with a friendly, insistent nod. "It's no trouble," he said, already moving to follow me. "I need something else than beer." My mind raced as I turned and started walking towards the bar, Takahashi close behind. The crowd seemed denser now, every face blurring into a sea of strangers. My pulse quickened, my chest tightening with each step. How was I going to get out of this? The thought of Takahashi discovering my lie and the inevitable awkward confrontation that would follow filled me with dread. Well, actually, fuck the awkward confrontation, what I feared the most was not being able to get this dude off of my back. I scanned the club frantically, as we made our way across the crowded floor, my eyes darting from group to group, desperately searching for my friends. "Hina, Yuki, Mei, where are you?" The usual places where we hung out were empty, the familiar faces replaced by strangers. The bar loomed closer, and I could feel Takahashi's presence right behind me, his gaze undoubtedly suspicious. I needed a plan, an escape route, something to get me out of this mess, but my mind was a buzzing, chaotic whirlwind, every rational thought drowned out by the rising tide of panic and the amounts of alcohol I had downed during beer pong. I glanced over my shoulder at Takahashi, his eyes narrowing slightly as he followed me. "You okay, Ichimura?" he asked, a note of concern in his voice. It felt like a taunt, though, like he knew I was on the edge of unraveling. "Yeah, just looking for," I replied, my voice trembling despite my efforts to sound calm. The bar was only a few steps away now, and I knew I was running out of time. As we reached the bar, I scanned the area one last time, my heart pounding in my ears. Still no sign of Yuki or the others. Desperation clawed at me, when I realized that I did not know even one of the faces around the bar. I swallowed hard, feeling cornered. With no other option, I approached the bar, my eyes still darting around for a glimpse of my friends. I could feel the walls closing in, the weight of my lie pressing down on me. Each step felt like a march towards inevitable exposure, and the panic inside me swelled to a fever pitch, while my eyes darted around the bar, searching frantically for any possible way out. And then I saw him, a guy with striking pink hair, standing alone at the bar with an empty spot next to him. Without thinking, I made a beeline for him, my heart pounding in my chest. As I reached him, I placed a hand gently on his back, trying not to startle him too much. "Hey," I whispered urgently, leaning in just enough for him to hear over the noise of the club. "Sorry to bother you, but I'm trying to get away from this guy," and I told him that my boyfriend was here at the bar, but that's a lie, and, "Could you pretend to be my boyfriend just for a couple of minutes?" The pink-haired guy turned to look at me, surprise flickering across his features, as his golden brown eyes scanned my face. I was too drunk to consider whether he might refuse or not, and luckily, his expression soon softened, before he raised a playful eyebrow at me, his lips curling into a mischievous smirk. "Sure," he said in a low chuckle, "I got you." Relief flooded through me, and I smiled gratefully at him, feeling my shoulders slump back down into place. "Oh dude, thanks," I breathed, feeling the weight of my panic start to lift, while my hand was still placed on his back. When our eyes met again, a short moment of silence passed by. His eyes were deep, golden shade of brown, They were warm and reassuring, yet there was a spark of childish curiosity and kindness that made me feel unexpectedly at ease. The brown-eyed stranger sent me a reassuring smile, as if he was silently letting me know that everything was going to be alright now, and in some weird way, I just felt like I could trust him. There was just something about this guy that seemed genuine. The stranger leaned his head a bit closer to me, and I caught a draft of the scent of his cologne, a fresh and energetic blend of citrus and basil filling my nostrils. Without thinking, I breathed in deeply, his scent absent-mindedly drawing me closer. I hoped he did not notice, so not to be inappropriate or anything, but if I were your boyfriend, the guy whispered into my ear with a small smile, I'd probably, greet you with a kiss or a hug or something, right? As I looked up at him, his eyes twinkled at me with mischief, as if he liked playing along with my little lie. I tilted my head a little at him, searching for any clues of whether this was a creepy guy too, but I found nothing but playful vibes shining from them, so I sent him a small smirk. Right, boyfriend, I giggled, happy that he wanted to play along with me. I turned my cheek slightly towards him, silently urging him to greet me with a sober kiss there. He leaned closer, while he wrapped his arm gently around my waist. His touch felt careful yet warm and comforting as he pulled me slightly closer to him in a way that was protective yet surprisingly tender, and then, I felt his lips brush ever so softly against my cheek. Without thinking, my eyes fluttered shut and I heard myself sigh out. The sensation sent a jolt through me, a mix of surprise and something else, a fluttering warmth that spread from where his lips had touched. It was a brief gesture, but somehow, it ended up feeling super intimate, leaving a lingering sensation that seemed to echo through my body even after he pulled away. I blinked excessively, trying to gather my thoughts as I looked up at him again, my heart racing with a blend of confusion and curiosity. His brown eyes met mine, and even though I knew that I should probably want to pull a bit away, I just stared at him. He was actually quite good-looking as he stood there, his eyes a little hooded maybe because he was drunk too, and his strange, vibrant pink hair suddenly seemed to sparkle as if it caught the flashing lights in the club, and I could not help but let my eyes travel over him. His face was youthful, carrying a mix of boyish charm and a hint of intensity. He was dressed casually yet stylishly, a loose-fitting black tee hanging comfortably on his shoulders, the fabric draping loosely around his torso. His black jeans were baggy too, giving him a relaxed and laid-back appearance. A silver chain peeked out from under his shirt collar, adding a touch of edge to his otherwise laid-back appearance. Despite the oversized clothes, there was an effortless charm and confidence in the way he carried himself, a natural ease that complemented his friendly demeanor. From a distance, I would probably never have looked twice at this guy, but now that we were this close, I actually found myself feeling kind of attracted to him. The dim lights of the club danced around us, casting shadows on his face and highlighting the contours of his features, the crooked curve on his lips, the faint stubble along his jawline. Without thinking, my eyes traced the path from his eyes down to his lips and back up again. The intensity in his gaze held me captive, stirring something deep within me that I struggled to comprehend. His presence felt magnetic, somehow, drawing me in despite the somewhat chaotic surroundings. Something inside of me wanted to lean in and kiss him, and the sudden wave of desire sort of woke me up from the haze that had settled over my thoughts. I shook my head slightly, a deep exhale escaped my lips, a mixture of nervousness and a growing awareness of the attraction I felt towards him. "Oh," I mumbled to break the spell that had apparently rendered me speechless, tearing my eyes away from him only to have them fall down to the dark wood of the bar in front of us. "Thanks?" I chuckled nervously, feeling a pink flush rise to my cheeks, unsure if I was thanking him for the kiss or for wanting to play along with my little act. The pink-haired guy's expression softened, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Name's Atadori," he started, but he paused, narrowing his eyes a little down at me. "No, of course, as your boyfriend, you'd call me Yuji." Yuji, I tasted his name in my mouth. "I'm Miyu," I smiled back, a pink flush still visible on my cheeks. Even though this guy had already kissed my cheek, it still felt a little intimate calling each other by our first names when we had only just met. "Nice to meet you, Miyu," he whispered into my ear. I could feel the warmth of his breath on my skin, and it sent a pleasant shiver down my spine. It felt good, so when he spoke again, I could not help but to enjoy the sensation of the vibrations of his voice so close to me. "So," he hummed into my ear, "who's the predator?" My eyes widened. "Oh right, Takahashi." Just for a moment, I had simply forgotten everything about that guy. A small pang of discomfort surged forth in my stomach, and my gaze flickered around the crowded club as I searched for any sign of Mr. Creep. Luckily, he was nowhere to be seen among the shifting sea of faces and pulsing lights. "I think he's gone," I said, leaning a bit closer to my new acquaintance, probably a bit closer than was really necessary, but I could not help myself. Even though it was probably because I was not sober, I really felt like flirting with this guy. Yuji's grip around my waist tightened imperceptibly, a silent gesture of reassurance. Good, he murmured, his voice firm yet controlled. It was a simple word, but it seemed to ease the tension coiling in my stomach. However, with the supposed threat gone, Yuji soon loosened his grip around my waist and let his arm fall to his side, much to my dismay, and when we both turned to face the bar again, I suddenly felt overly self-conscious, as if it was not until now that I realized that this guy was actually a complete stranger. A short moment of silence passed by between us, and I could not help but to steal a glance at Yuji's profile, the strong line of his jaw, the relaxed set of broad shoulders, his casual and easygoing demeanor, the way his eyes crinkled in the corners when he smiled. I tilted my head a little when I noticed some faint marks under his eyes. They were unusual. Just below his eyes were curved lines that kind of looked like closed eyelids. I wondered whether they were tattoos, or scars perhaps. The marks seemed out of place, yet they somehow suited him, blending with his boyish charm and the intensity that sometimes flashed in his brown eyes. I wondered what the story behind those marks was, but I did not dare ask. I sucked in a hard breath when Yuji turned his gaze to look at me, and in an awkward and flustered movement I quickly looked away as another wave of pink flushed my cheeks as I realized that he had caught me staring. Fuck, I winced a little when I heard him chuckle under his breath. You know, Yuji said, leaning a bit closer to me again, and I caught another wave of his scent. I'm getting drinks for me and my friends, and well, I dunno, I don't wanna leave you alone here. You wanna come sit with us? I opened my mouth to answer him, but his invitation to join him and his friends caught me off guard, stirring a mix of uncertainty and a flicker of excitement. His offer was kind and unexpected, and I found myself torn between the desire to stay close to him and wanting to find my friends. Oh, I stammered, searching for the right words as I glanced around the crowded venue. I appreciate that, Yuji. It's just, I need to find my friends. Yuji nodded understandingly, his expression thoughtful yet welcoming. Of course, he said gently, his voice carrying a reassuring tone. Why don't you come sit with us until you hear back from your friend? It might be easier to find them from there. His suggestion made sense, and a part of me was grateful for the chance to spend more time with him, even if it was just for a little while. I knew that I was silly for feeling that, but I could not help it. Okay, I agreed, offering him a tentative smile. Sounds like a plan. Good, he simply smiled back. His voice carried a warmth that tingled my skin, and the repetition of that one word caused a small shiver to run down my spine. It was as if the word sparked a rush of anticipation, tingles spreading through me like ripples on water. Yuji's brown eyes held a soft intensity as he eyed me for a moment, and I wondered whether he was aware of the effect he had on me, and whether he felt some sort of connection between us two. Soon, he ordered some drinks, and it was not long before he guided me through the bustling club with a gentle but assured hand on the lower of my back, his presence a steady anchor amidst the throngs of dancing bodies and pulsating lights. We wove through the crowded dance floor, the rhythmic beat of the music vibrating under our feet and resonating through the air. The club was a kaleidoscope of flashing lights and swirling colors, but my focus remained on Yuji. As we approached his friend's table, the noise of the club seemed to fade slightly, replaced by the hum of conversation and laughter, and it was not long before I heard a loud roar. "Brother," some guy suddenly called out, catching my eye, and I realized that he was addressing Yuji by the way his eyes lit up from seeing him before they shifted to me, a curious glint appearing in his gaze. I noticed a smile forming on Yuji's lips. Brother. This guy did not really look that similar to Yuji. I would never have guessed them to be related at all, let alone brothers. Hey guys, Yuji greeted the three dudes sitting at the table he had led me to, and they looked up at him before all eyes turned to me, causing another sudden jolt of self-consciousness to flare out within me under their collective gaze. I locked eyes with Todo first, and he did not exactly hide the curiosity and surprise in his eyes when he saw that Yuji had brought a girl with him. "Who's this?" he asked, a grin still spread across his face. "Did my little brother wing a girl?" I was surprised to see Yuji blush, the color of his cheeks suddenly matching the locks of his hair. I felt a flutter of excitement in my stomach, while a wave of heat traveled to my face too. It was exciting to me that he was blushing. But Yuji just laughed and waved Todo off with a hand, before he started introducing me and explained to them my situation. And while he spoke, the first thing I noticed was the striking contrast between them all. Yuji's brother, Todo, had a towering frame coupled with a set of really broad shoulders and an extremely muscular build. He also had a prominent scar that marked his face, a jagged line running diagonally from his forehead to his cheek, which added an air of rugged toughness to his already demeanor. It had me wondering what was with these guys and their unusual scars and marks. Todo did look friendly, though, with his broad smile reaching from ear to ear and the light shining from his eyes when he looked at Yuji. And then, there was this other guy that quickly caught my eye. He introduced himself as Gojo. He was really a character. First of all, he was the type of guy that wore dark sunglasses inside. In a dimly lit club, not only did not being able to see his eyes give him an air of being untouchable, it also kind of made me think that he was the type of guy who thought himself to be better than everyone else. His strikingly stark white hair also drew attention to him, and the way he lounged in his seat with a relaxed posture, smiling at me with a playful curl on his lips, it made me feel like he knew something that I did not, as if he was in on some grand joke that the rest of the world was not privy to. He seemed like the type of guy that had broken a lot of hearts. Despite the sunglasses, I could easily feel the intensity of his gaze on me while Yuji spoke, and I felt really grateful that his eyes were covered, because if not I would probably have felt even more like a deer caught in headlights right now. Hoping that Gojo would not notice, I took a small step closer to Yuji before the third guy introduced himself. The guy named Fushiguro's intense eyes met mine, and I immediately sensed his presence to be a stark contrast to Gojo's playful exuberance. Fushiguro had a quiet air around him that hinted at a depth and complexity that kind of intrigued me a little. His black hair was styled in a slightly messy, yet deliberate way, and his expression was reserved, almost brooding, as if he carried some sort of weight on his shoulders that allowed him to take in details that others might overlook. If Gojo was the all eyes on me boy, Fushiguro was more like the stoic emo warrior type, someone who preferred to stay in the background until he was called upon. And now, as I stood there bathing in their collective attention, my heart raced in my chest, and I could feel the pink on my cheeks slowly turning more and more crimson. "Yeah, hey, that's me," I chirped lamely with an awkward grin plastered over my face when Yuji finished introducing me, hoping they would not think I was too much of a mess, but still being too drunk to do anything about it if they did. "Anyway, thanks for letting me crash your table. I really appreciate it." I quickly glanced at Yuji, the least strange stranger of the lot, seeking reassurance. Yuji gave me a warm, crooked smile, and his calm confidence helped steady my nerves as we sat down with his friends. "Nice to meet you, Ichimura," Todo said with a teasing smile on his lips as he leaned a bit over the table, before pointing at Yuji. "You know, you couldn't have picked a better guy at the bar to be your boyfriend. My brother here's a stand-up guy." I could not help but let out a relieved laugh as Todo's enthusiasm eased my nerves. "Yeah, he's a real lifesaver," I said, smiling gratefully at Yuji again. As soon as the words left my mouth, I noticed the boys exchanging a look. It was quick, almost imperceptible, but there was a depth to it that I could not quite understand. Gojo's playful demeanor momentarily faded into something more serious, his lips curling slightly. Fushiguro's already intense gaze seemed to darken, a flicker of something like understanding or perhaps sorrow passing through his eyes. Todo, who was usually so boisterous, gave a small, solemn nod, his grin softening. The moment passed as quickly as it came, their expressions returning to normal before I could fully process what I had seen. It left me feeling slightly unsettled, as if I had touched something I should not have, something hidden beneath the surface. Yuji did not seem unfazed either. His warm brown eyes flickered for a brief moment, his smile wavering ever so slightly. He looked down, a shadow passing over his face, and for a moment, he seemed far away, lost in a memory that brought a heavy weight to his shoulders. "Just glad I could help," he said, his voice softer, tinged with an emotion I could not quite place. I watched him for a moment. There was a depth to Yuji that I had not noticed before, a struggle that lay beneath his kind exterior. It was clear that he carried a burden, one that he kept hidden behind his easygoing smile. Still, he quickly regained his composure, giving me a reassuring smile. The strange moment was quickly masked by the return of the lively atmosphere around us, and I brushed it off, chalking it up to the lingering effects of the alcohol and the overwhelming environment of the club. Still, I could not shake the feeling that there was more to these boys than met the eye. But for now, I was just grateful to be safe in among friendly faces, and it was not long before conversation flowed between us. I also made sure to text Hina, asking where she and the other girls were. I had sent and tucked my phone back into my bag, intending to keep an eye out for her reply. But as soon as I looked back up, the conversation at the table swept me away. Gojo was in the middle of telling a hilarious story, his hands animatedly waving as he described some absurd situation from work with exaggerated flair. Todo was chiming in with his booming laughter and occasional playful jabs at Gojo's expense. Fushiguro, though quieter, contributed with his dry wit, adding an unexpected twist to the narrative that had everyone laughing. I was happy to sit right next to Yuji. He was such a fun, easygoing guy, and I found myself agreeing more and more with his brother that I could not have picked out a better guy as an escape from Takahashi earlier. Yuji paid me a lot of attention, asking me questions about my studies, my interests, and genuinely engaging with my answers. He also told me snippets of his own life. The ease with which he spoke, the genuine curiosity in his eyes, made me feel more comfortable than I had all night. And it was not just Yuji's words that held my attention. His gaze, those golden brown eyes, bathed me in a gentle, yet playful focus. Whenever our eyes would meet, he held my gaze for what felt like eternity, his warm eyes locking onto mine with a soft intensity that made my heart race. Every time he looked at me, it sent a rush of warmth through my body, making me feel giddy and hot. I knew I was still tipsy, but his attention felt intoxicating in its own right. His gaze and genuine laughter made me feel seen, as if I was the only person in the room that mattered. I could feel my cheeks flush and my pulse quicken whenever I made him laugh. It was a deliciously overwhelming sensation, a mix of nervousness and excitement that made my stomach flutter. Though I knew it was probably just the alcohol still in my system, I found myself wanting to touch him. The desire was subtle but persistent, a soft whisper in the back of my mind urging me closer to him. It was kind of stupid, I knew that, because we just met and his friends were sitting right there next to us. However, although I did not notice it myself, my body did seem to turn more and more towards him by its own accord, until at some point, our knees brushed together under the table. The unexpected contact sent a delightful tingle up my spine, making my belly flutter with excitement, and I heard myself gasp out a short breath. I quickly glanced at Yuji, and to my surprise, I saw his gaze quickly fall to the table before his breath seemingly caught in his throat for a moment too. My eyes widened. Shit, I'm being too pushy here. Just because I wanted to touch him did not necessarily mean that he wanted me to do so. Feeling a rush of nervousness mixed with excitement, Drunk quickly reached over and placed an apologizing hand on his knee. As if that did not make me seem even more pushy. Oh, sorry, I mumbled awkwardly, trying to defuse the situation, but as soon as my hand made contact, the intimacy of the touch only intensified. The fabric of his pants was warm under my palm, and I could feel the solid outline of his kneecap beneath. I was surprised when a quick but persistent pang of arousal pooled deep in my belly, catching me off guard with its intensity. My breath hitched, and I glanced up at Yuji's face again, hoping he had not noticed the sudden flush creeping up my neck and cheeks. But his eyes were on me now, holding my gaze with that same, unwavering intensity. I saw his cheeks flush with a soft, endearing pink. The blush spread gently across his cheekbones, making him look both surprised and adorable. The delicate pink of his cheeks contrasted with his strong features, adding a layer of sweetness to his already captivating face. The warmth of his knee under my hand, the solidity of his bone and muscle, made the moment feel incredibly real and grounding. Yet, at the same time, it sent sparks of electricity through my body, heightening every sensation and making me acutely aware of how close we were. There was something electric in the air between us, a charged moment that neither of us seemed willing to break. Yuji's gaze flickered to my lips, and I could see the faintest hint of longing in his eyes. My heart raced, and I could feel my cheeks heating up, but I could not look away. The intensity of his gaze and the softness of his breath mingling with mine created a bubble of intimacy that felt both thrilling and terrifying. I bit my lip, trying to suppress the rush of emotions and sensations swirling inside me. It was thrilling and a little scary to feel so much from such a simple touch. My fingers twitched slightly, as if they wanted to explore more, to trace the lines and contours of his knee, of his thigh, to feel more of him. But I held myself back, retrieving my hand as quickly as I had put it there, knowing that I was already treading on dangerously intimate ground. I managed to tear my eyes away from Yuji too, turning my body to face the table again, before drunkenly exhaling out over the table as if to steady myself a little. Of course, when I looked up, my gaze immediately locked with Todo's. I gulped down when I saw the look on his face. Todo was leaning back in his chair, a knowing smirk playing on his lips. His dark eyes twinkled with a mischievous glint and it sent another jolt of self-consciousness through my body. His smirk was teasing, almost like a silent acknowledgement of the arousal simmering inside me. It felt like he knew exactly what was going on between Yuji and me, the intimate connection that was building with every shared glance and touch. I tried to steady my breathing, but the way Todo's eyes danced with amusement made it difficult to hide my reaction. It was as if he could sense the heat pooling in my belly, the fluttering excitement that Yuji's presence ignited in me. His smirk seemed to say, "I see you," and it made me feel both embarrassed and strangely validated at the same time. Despite the slight embarrassment, I held Todo's gaze for a moment, unwilling to let him see just how flustered I was. But the smirk on his face never wavered, a playful challenge that made my cheeks burn even hotter. He leaned in over the table, amusement shining from his eyes. "So, tell me, Ichimura," he said, his eyes flickering briefly to Yuji before returning to my flushed face. "What kind of guy are you into?" My eyes widened in surprise, totally caught off guard by his blunt question. Todo's voice was casual, but his eyes held a glint of mischief that made a part of me squirm inwardly. "Hey, you don't have to answer that," Yuji's voice sounded in my left ear like a husky whisper, causing me to breathe out deeply once more. I narrowed my eyes at Todo. Even though a part of me felt embarrassed that he might somehow sense my attraction to Yuji, there was also another slightly more rebellious part of me that wanted to play along with his teasing. And that part of me seemed to have teamed up with the alcohol in my blood, because I decided to respond with humor. "Well, apparently a guy like Itadori," I said, trying to keep my tone light and casual. "He was my pick earlier, remember?" I glanced at Yuji, who looked at me with a raised eyebrow, clearly curious about where this was going. His expression was a mix of surprise and amusement, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his lips. I felt proud for not just crawling into a hole. Todo's smirk grew wider, as if he found my response pleasing. "Ah, so Itadori fits your type?" he asked, his tone teasing but also genuinely interested in a slightly strange way. I nodded casually, feeling another rush of boldness. "Yeah, I mean," I trailed off, suddenly a bit more aware of Yuji's listening ears beside me. I glanced over at him and was surprised to see the innocence with which he eyed me, and it caused me to gulp down, before I managed to tear my eyes back to Todo. "Yeah," I grinned with a casual shrug of my shoulders, trying my best to seem cool and totally unfazed. Todo chuckled. "What a great answer," he said, leaning back in his chair. I chuckled too while furrowing my brow slightly at him. "What a strange answer. Anyways," I said, widening my eyes a little to mock my obvious attempt to escape the teasing atmosphere, causing Fushiguro to snicker. "You gotta excuse me for a moment." I quickly scanned the dimly lit club for the familiar sign indicating the location of the restrooms. Just as I started to move, Yuji stood up smoothly too. "I gotta pee too," he said casually, and I tried to ignore the eyes that Todo was sending us as we both left the table for the restrooms. A wave of relief washed over me as Yuji joined me, his presence offering a comforting break from the playful banter at the table. Together, we navigated through the crowd, the thumping bass of the music fading into the background as we made our way towards the restroom area. As we walked, I stole a glance at Yuji. Despite the dim lighting and the noise around us, his features were illuminated by a soft glow, highlighting the kindness in his eyes and the easy confidence in his stride. We reached the restroom area, and I ducked into the nearest available stall in the ladies' room, grateful for a moment of solitude to collect my thoughts. The air here was cool and quiet, a stark contrast to the bustling club just outside the door. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. The evening had taken unexpected turns, and being alone with Yuji now felt both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. I leaned against the stall door, closing my eyes briefly as I replayed the moments with him in my mind. When I emerged from the stall, Yuji was waiting for me, casually leaning against the wall in the narrow hallway leading to the restrooms and the coat check area. His posture exuded a relaxed yet playful confidence, and the dim lighting cast gentle shadows across his features, accentuating the strong lines of his jaw and the subtle curve of his lips. I approached him, my eyes involuntarily flicking over his form. Damn, he looks so good. His gaze met mine as I drew near, and I noticed a spark of interest in his eyes, mingled with a hint of amusement. Yuji's gaze also openly roamed over my figure as I made my way towards him, his eyes tracing the contours of my body in a way that made my pulse quicken and my belly tingle again. His scrutiny was not invasive but rather appreciative, as if he were silently acknowledging the attraction between us. It was a moment charged with unspoken tension, the awareness of each other's presence palpable in the confined space of the hallway. I cleared my throat nervously as I caught up with him, feeling a flush creeping up my cheeks. Hi. I smiled, my voice slightly breathless. Yuji's gaze lingered for a moment before a faint crooked smile played on his lips and a breathy chuckle escaped his lips. "Hi," he replied in a husky voice as he pushed himself off the wall with a casual grace. I tilted my head a little at him, a smile curling at the corner of my lips. "Oh, by the way," I said, nervousness and excitement surging through me at the same time. "I never really thanked you properly for saving me back there, so, thank you." I smiled at him, truly feeling grateful for his support earlier in the evening. Yuji chuckled softly, his own smile widening. It was my pleasure, really, he replied, his tone light as he cocked an eyebrow at me. So, if you ever wanna play boyfriend, girlfriend again, count me in. His words carried a playful undertone, accompanied by a mischievous twinkle in his eyes. As he spoke, he brushed his hand lightly over my arm in a gesture that was both casual and clearly flirtatious. I felt a rush of electricity course through my body from his touch and his playful offer. And in an instant, I found myself briefly imagining what it would look like to have Yuji sitting in front of me, completely naked, placing himself between my legs, looking down at my body hungrily, kissing me, touching my breasts, moaning in my ear, playing with me. Shit, my imagination's running wild. An almost overwhelmingly hot, liquid warmth of arousal shot out from the depths of my belly and coursed through my entire body, rendering me surprised by the intensity. I exhaled a chuckle and let my eyes flutter shut. Fuck, he's cute. Okay, I gotta pull myself together. What? I heard him laugh out softly as I obviously did not know how to respond. Embarrassed, I opened my eyes to seek his hammered gaze. Am I being too blunt? I laughed out too before playfully slapping him over his arm. Yeah, you are, I giggled, feeling another rush of boldness as I too cocked a daring eyebrow at him. You are making me have naughty thoughts, Yuji. I saw his eyes widening slightly in surprise at my now quite blunt and obviously flirty answer. His eyebrows lifted just a fraction, a flicker of amusement and excitement dancing in his gaze as he processed my response. I understood his surprise, I was surprised too, but I could not deny the thrill of excitement that pulsed through me as I saw the allure shining from his eyes. Well, shit, he husked before he flashed a cute curl at the corner of his lips. Consider me intrigued. He took a small step closer to me, only leaving a few inches between us now. My eyes fluttered shut at the sensation of him being this close to me. What kinda naughty thoughts? He asked in a teasing manner, his voice barely above a whisper. I could almost feel his breath on my neck, while the sound of him breathing in my perfume snaked into my ear. Even with my eyes closed, I felt his gaze upon me, how his eyes felt hot on my skin. Oh, I shouldn't say, I whispered back, my cheeks dimpling with a mockingly shy smile compared to the indecency of the dirty thoughts that kept creeping into my mind even more now that he was standing this close. It's kinda private, something only a boyfriend and girlfriend would do. I opened my eyes to have my gaze lock with his, and I snickered, reveling in the fact that I could practically feel the heat and excitement radiating off of his body. Yeah. He whispered in a raspy breath, his eyes hooded and darker than usual as he looked down at me. I could see his gaze flickering to my lips again. I stuck out my tongue to wet my lips, a small, unconscious gesture that quickly betrayed a hint of the direction of my thoughts, and I heard a small hiss escape Yuji's lips before I saw him wet his lips too. It felt captivating to see the wet pink of his tongue slide over the plush softness of his lips. Yeah, I breathed while nodding slowly as if in a haze, my eyes hungrily traveling over his face. Fuck, he breathed as his eyes traveled just as hungrily over me. Miyu, can I kiss you? Another wave of hot arousal coursed through my body, causing my head to feel dizzy from desire, and I could do nothing else but to keep nodding at him. Our gazes locked with a magnetic intensity that bridged the space between us, drawing us closer with an irresistible pull. There was a moment of hesitation, a brief pause filled with anticipation and the exchange of heated breaths. Then, our lips finally melded together in a rush of warmth and urgency, and I closed my eyes and sighed out deeply through my nose, almost in a whimper, from the sensations of his soft lips pressing ever so gently against mine. I heard Yuji's breathing deepening too when he felt me returning the kiss, and he reached up a hand to cradle my neck, gently pulling me slightly closer to him before his other hand swooped around my waist, causing our bodies to lean into each other as if seeking to fuse into one. I felt like I was on fire with my body pressing so deliciously into his, heart pounding eagerly in my chest, as if every nerve ending within me was tingling with anticipation and desire. And when I felt his tongue gently and playfully asking for permission to enter my mouth, I simply parted my lips generously for him to enter. A throaty sigh escaped Yuji's lips as our tongues started dancing together delicately, urgently, passionately, roughly. He tasted sweet on my tongue, a mix of mint and the fruity drink he had been sipping on back at the table mingling with something that was uniquely him, a new and exciting taste that had me breathing deeply. My hands found his chest and I pressed my body even closer to his, and while I probably should not have been surprised by it, it did take me slightly aback to feel the hard bulge in his pants rubbing against my lower stomach. The sensation had a full-on whimper escape my lips, which seemed to spark jolts of arousal and anticipation within Yuji too, as he let his hands travel down my body, his hands swaying so lightly over my hips and ass that it was barely perceptible. I felt myself wishing his hands would be a bit firmer, and it made me squirm a little while I enjoyed the heat of his tongue dancing against mine, smooth, hot, playful. I wondered whether he was holding himself back, whether he was trying not to be too forward like me. Even if I wanted to, I could not stop all of the delicious ideas that popped into my mind and caused my belly to tingle while he kissed me with a passion. What if he wanted to touch me all over? Grab my ass roughly, maybe slam me up against the wall? What if he wanted to make himself feel good by sticking his dick in me? What if he wanted to make me feel really good too? I breathed hard. Phew, easy now, girl. I was getting carried away. But so was Yuji. As if he had read my mind, his hands started becoming bolder now, hands brushing over my dress and against my skin in a delicate dance of exploration and heat. They traveled firmly over my hips, my ass, my thighs, back to my hips, my waist, the lower of my back, my ribs, and oh, my breasts. His lips broke from mine when he cupped my breasts, and when I heard how deeply he breathed, I thought to myself that he had to be just as aroused as me. I soon felt his warm breath on my neck, causing goosebumps to break out and spread over my entire body, before he pressed his lips to my neck, his mouth moving with deliberate passion, trailing a path along my neck and throat, making my heart race. I felt surges of warm pleasure waving through my body from his touch, and I closed my eyes, losing myself in the sensation, each kiss sending waves of tingling excitement through me. It felt as if he was savoring the taste of my skin, and it caused the entire world around us to fade away. As if my hands had a life of their own, they suddenly started moving. They swayed over his chest, fingers brushing over the fabric of his baggy t-shirt, and I was surprised, shocked almost, when I felt the solid firmness of his muscles beneath the soft black fabric as my fingers brushed against the defined contours of his chest. I felt struck by another rush of arousal and admiration. Who the fuck is this guy? I would never in my life have imagined this dude to be this muscular under his baggy clothes, but I felt myself welcoming it by greedily letting my fingers explore his chest, stomach, arms, shoulders, back. I felt thrilled, as if I had discovered a hidden layer of this guy, and my body buzzed from it all, completely intoxicated by his smell, his touch, his skin, his lips on me, his body against mine, his breath in my ear. Suddenly, the music from the club turned up a notch, the bass thumping louder and the melodies echoing down the narrow hallway for a few seconds, signaling that someone had entered the hallway and was approaching them. Yuji and I pulled away from each other, our breaths ragged and faces flushed. I could not believe that I was standing here, making out with someone I barely knew, like some sort of horny teenager. I felt my heart pounding in my chest, my cheeks burning with a mix of excitement and embarrassment. When I glanced up at Yuji, he looked equally flustered, his eyes dark and hooded, his lips pink and slightly swollen from our heated kisses. We shared a brief, awkward laugh, our eyes filled with a mixture of lust and amusement at being caught in such an intimate moment. The footsteps grew louder, and we both straightened up, trying to compose ourselves. The heat of our kiss lingered in the air, but the interruption brought us back to reality, and I quickly brushed a stray lock of hair behind my ear while trying to steady my breathing, still feeling the electric connection between us. It was as if Yuji's touch had left a trail of fire on my skin, a lingering heat that I could still feel in every place his fingers had brushed and his lips had kissed. My neck tingled from where his mouth had pressed softly against it, and my body felt sensitized wherever his hands had held me. I pressed a hand to my chest, trying to steady my racing heart, but the effort was futile. The memory of his solid muscles beneath his baggy t-shirt, the hard bulge in his pants, and the intensity of his gaze made my pulse quicken all over again. The way he looked at me, as if I were the only person in the world, I could not shake the feeling of being completely wrapped up in him. I bit my lip, as I heard the footsteps of the passerby coming closer, a smile tugging at the corners of my mouth as I recalled the passion in Yuji's kiss. My skin still buzzed with the electricity of his touch, making me feel alive and more aware of every sensation. My eyes flickered to the intruder that was approaching through the dark hallway, and I gasped, my breath catching in my throat. Even though the room was dimly lit, it was unmistakable, the white hair, the dark round sunglasses, the effortless swagger. Gojo. I felt a mix of surprise and embarrassment wash over me, my cheeks flushing even deeper as Yuji's friend approached us. I straightened up, trying to compose myself as Gojo's eyes, hidden behind his sunglasses, seemed to take in everything with a knowing smirk. I heard Yuji groan out when he recognized his friend too. Hey Yuji-chan, Ichi-chan, what are you kids up to? Gojo's voice sang out as he approached us, carrying a hint of amusement that made it clear he knew exactly what we were up to. His lips curled into a sly grin, as he added, "Not being naughty, are you?" The way he said it, with that smooth, almost sing-song quality, his tone dripping with mischievous curiosity, made my cheeks burn even hotter. Gojo stopped in front of us, crossing his arms and tilting his head a little at us. His expression was one of bemused authority, like an adult who had just caught his kids in the act of doing something, indeed, very naughty. The way he had his arms crossed, the head tilt, the knowing smirk on his lips and the way his sunglasses seemed to hide his eyes only added to the feeling of being seen right through. Gojo had caught us red-handed, his presence effortlessly turning our secretive moment into a spectacle. His playful accusation hung in the air for what seemed like an excruciatingly long moment, making my stomach churn with a mix of guilt and amusement. I glanced at Yuji, who seemed equally at a loss, his eyes widening slightly as he looked back at Gojo. The intensity of the moment we had just shared felt exposed under Gojo's scrutinizing gaze, and I struggled to find my footing, feeling like a child caught in a game I was not quite prepared to play. Anyway, Gojo chuckled heartwarmingly, before I could open my mouth to answer. "Just a heads up, Megumi's absolutely shit-faced right about now and he's got it in his head that we all need to do karaoke." I could not help but burst with laughter. The images flashing before my eyes were hilarious, drunk Fushiguro singing, dancing, clapping his hands happily, being all kawaii and shit. Yuji laughed too. "It's like that?" he chuckled. "It's like that." Gojo smiled before he turned his body slightly towards the restrooms. "Now, excuse me for a moment. I'll let you kids get back to whatever you were doing." Just as he turned away, his head tilted in a subtle movement, and for a split second, I locked eyes with a shockingly light blue one, and I felt a jolt of surprise. What the fuck? The ice blue color of Gojo's eye was so vivid, it seemed to almost glow with a supernatural light from within, framed by his strikingly white eyelashes. His gaze was intense, piercing, as if he could see right through me, not just my thoughts but my very essence, as if he could read my soul with that penetrating gaze. Even though he smiled at me, his gaze made me feel small somehow, as if he was reading my soul to see if it was okay for him to leave Yuji alone with me, and it caused a mixture of shock and awe and a hint of unease to swirl uncomfortably inside me. But then, as quickly as it had happened, Gojo turned his gaze away, his movements swift and effortless, as he started walking towards the restrooms. I let out a breath I did not realize I had been holding, feeling a rush of relief wash over me. His eyes had held a depth that unsettled me momentarily, but now that he had looked away, I could finally exhale. "Don't do something I wouldn't do," Gojo called out, his voice teasing and full of amusement, while he waved a hand at us, before he disappeared behind the door leading to the men's restroom. I laughed out. Somehow, even though I had only just met this guy, I had a feeling that there were not really that many things Gojo would not do. I felt Yuji take my hand into his. His hand felt hot, smooth and welcome on my skin, and I immediately felt like our earlier bubble of intimacy extended around us, as if his simple touch enthralled me in a secret domain in which it was only the two of us. Yuji leaned in close, his voice dropping to a husky whisper. "You wanna do karaoke?" he murmured, still with a slight blush on his cheeks, eyes sparkling with a hint of mischief. His tone was suggestive, sexy, hinting at something more. It was as if he was not really asking me if I wanted to do karaoke but as if he was proposing the opposite, an alternative, something more intimate and private between just the two of us. "Not really," I whispered as I entwined my fingers with his, and I heard him exhale deeply as if in relief. Yuji took a small step closer to me, causing our bodies to be only an inch apart, his mouth just above my ear, and when he started whispering, the rasp in his voice felt like liquid honey that slowly, thickly, deliciously snaked its way inside me, causing me to breathe out loudly from the waves of arousal that raced through me. "Can I take you to my place instead?" My eyes fluttered shut, and I felt my belly tingling again, but this time with such intense force that it sent jolts of electricity to shoot out and gather between my legs, causing me to throb and burn down there from his words. Translation equals "You wanna fuck instead?" My lips parted and formed what I hoped was a seductive smile. "Yes, please," I whispered in a breath, causing Yuji to furrow his brows and just stare at me for a couple of seconds. He had this look in his eye, as if he was angry with me. "Please," he repeated under his breath, as if in disbelief, before he crashed his lips against mine once more and convinced my mouth of how pleased he was that I accepted his invitation. I felt a warm wetness spread between my legs, causing me to squirm under his kiss, and without me intending for it, I moaned into his mouth. Yuji pulled back before grabbing me by my shoulders with strong hands. His breathing was loud and he looked angry again. I tilted my head slightly, widening my eyes while focusing on looking as innocent as possible, trying to channel the most innocent puppy dog eyes ever. I even jutted out my lower lip a little in a subtle pout to really seem like the innocent one here. Even though I knew that I was at least as sinful as him. We should head out before Gojo comes back. We exchanged a knowing look before we hurried down the hallway to grab our jackets in a flurry of quick and sloppy movements, and it was not long before we practically ran out of the club, stifling giggles like school kids sneaking out past curfew. The excitement of the moment made us move quickly, our hearts pounding in sync as we avoided any chance encounters with our friends. Once outside, the cool night air hit us, and we burst into laughter, the adrenaline fueling our steps as we made our way to Yuji's place.